Three,
Three,
two, one. Welcome back to another episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. Today we have a really awesome guest. Her name is Bridget. She has an amazing story to tell. And welcome, Bridget.
Welcome, Bridget.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be here.
How was your day?
Well, it was one of those days where I had to do, a bunch of errands. It's my day off. I'm off on Thursdays and Fridays, and it seems like I always have a million things to, errands to run. So I had 2 doctor's appointments. I did some cooking. I took a nap. It's been a good day.
Did you make anything yummy and tasty you want to share?
Well, I like TikTok. Okay. So I had to get off of all the political stuff. So now I'm on recipes and comedians and art. So I found this recipe on TikTok and it just looked so easy and so simple. And I did it and it tastes great, but it turned, instead of soup, it turned into a really thick soup.
Like a gravy.
Yeah, thicker than that. But anyway, it's okay. I wouldn't serve it to guests, but I ate it.
Can I share what my For You page is on TikTok?
Oh, what?
See if I get a laugh. It is men chopping wood.
Oh, so Thorn.
Yes. Thorn yes. Bradley, shout out.
Thorn, yes, yeah.
Come on to our podcast.
Yes, I know that guy too.
and it is this man who makes delicious meals, but I don't know what his name is. He does like a lot of desserts and aggressive whipping of like creams.
Oh.
and then it's usually spicy audiobooks. So yeah. We all know where we stand on TikTok.
I'm telling you.
What about you, G-Rex? You want to share?
Nope. No, because I can't say TikTok. I say Tic-Tac. Remember?
Tic-Tac. I know.
Tic-Tac.
Because I'm old.
Ticky-tacky.
Ticky-tacky.
Ticky-tacky. Tick-tock. Tick-tock.
Hey, Dirty Skittles, I bet if you watched Tiki Tacky last night, you could have figured out what you were supposed to do with your pasta sauce. Instead.
You know what? Listen, now I have to tell the story. So, sometimes you have like a really busy day and you don't have all the time in the world to make like a fresh home cooked meal. Mm-hmm. So I had this freezer meal that is pasta. It's like a bolognese sauce, right? And so I pull out the packet from the freezer and I'm reading the back. And I read it at least 10 times. And my brain, it should probably be studied. You know what I mean? Like it needs its own class. But I can be very, very literal. And so I'm reading the package and it tells me to boil 4 quarts of water. And I'm like, that is a lot of fucking water for like serving size of 2, right? I'm like, okay, I guess, or whatever. Pull out the big pot, boil the 4 quarts of water. The next step is take the sauce and put it in the water for 2 minutes. And I'm like, that's so fucking weird. Because it's like a small sauce packet. And I read it. And I'm like, all right, maybe it's like a sauce concentrate in this 4 quarts of fucking water. Cut it open, squeeze it into the water. And immediately I knew this ain't right, like I have done something very wrong. The oil is on the top. I was like, this ain't it. But I proceed because I'm following the fucking steps. Put in the pasta, boil the pasta for 4 minutes, drain the pasta, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, there is no fucking sauce. And then it dawns on me, oh, I think they meant like take the sauce packet and put the packet in the water for 2 minutes and then take that out. So you know what? It wasn't on me. That was poor directions. So I had to just pull out pasta sauce and put it on the pasta and it was fine. My son loved it, had seconds, and then wanted it for lunch. So
I have tears in my eyes. I'm sorry. Because you're such a good cook. And so I think that it was just like all the stress from the day finally got into your fucking head.
That's right.
And you're like,
Give
hey,
me the
fuck it.
excuses.
Fuck it, done.
Yeah.
When I
burnt
was
out.
a kid, my dad used to make spaghetti for us. And if we didn't have sauce, that was fine. He just called it naked spaghetti. And we used to love naked spaghetti. We'd ask for that.
I love that.
Can we eat naked spaghetti tonight?
I love that. I love that so much. Naked spaghetti.
Yum. Did you put like butter on that naked spaghetti?
Butter and Parmesan cheese.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Naked spaghetti.
That's one of Nugget's favorites.
Love naked spaghetti.
Right.
Man, I think I want some nugget spaghetti. Some. Fuck off, both of you. Love you, but fuck it.
Nugget spaghetti is something different.
Oh.
Not naked spaghetti. All right. Mine in the gutter. Okay.
Okay,
So, Bridget, what are we going to talk about today?
I don't know. I guess we're going to talk about this recent diagnosis that I've gotten and the struggles that I've had with it. It's so new, and I guess talk about my struggles and how I cope with that on a daily basis. I mean, there's probably going to be some other stuff that pops in. As I think about the stage of life that I'm in and how I've been making plans and how this has just thrown a big old wrench into my plans.
And so, for those that are listening, what is the recent diagnosis you've received?
I recently diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Mm-hmm.
And how has that impacted your life?
Well, right, you go through the stages of grief, right? And so I'm right now fluctuating between grief and anger. I haven't gotten even close to the acceptance part. I don't even know what the 5 stages are. I know that the first 2 are the 2 that I'm working on real hard.
Yeah.
So the immediate thing that I started to do is educating myself. I had to, I'm a learner, I'm a lifelong learner, and I had to learn everything that I could find out about this, because if I understood it, it would be easier to manage, because, I want to control and manage this and make sure everything's okay. That doesn't work in this particular situation either. So I did that. I'm still doing that. I do that on a daily basis. I learn something new every day. I have decided to cut back on working hours, and I had intended to retire anyway in 2024 August, and but since the diagnosis, I have found myself so scattered, so fearful, so angry. And when I would start working, it's not like my job is real stressful. I love my job. But it was just the expectation that I had to be on. I had to be working at a certain time, had to be on the computer. I had to be available. And so just the knowing that I had to do that would cause me stress. And the stress, as we all know, and many times, no matter what kind of issues you have, stress can cause you problems for anything. And so I found that aggravated my symptoms quite a bit. The tremors, which was the first symptom. This is the symptom that took me to the doctor in the first place. So I've cut back my hours to 20, and it has helped. I have mixed feelings about that too, because while I say I want to take more time for self-care, Um, at the same time, if I do work, I take my mind off the
Right.
the Parkinson's, or
It's a distraction.
it's a definite distraction. And like I said, I love my job and it's a great distractor. So I balance. I'm really kind of on the fence there. I've made a decision that February 1st I'm going to be retiring officially. Um, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with that. But it seems like I have a different outlook on life almost every week. Sometimes it's every day I look at the world a little differently. And for somebody who's, I hate to say controlling, but controlling, like I've got, this is the plan and this is going to how it's working out and blah, 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 blah. And for someone like me to be in this, I don't even know how to describe it. Just
Uncertainty.
uncertainty, just confusion, fear.
Do you feel like you're a little pissed off at the world right now?
Yeah. 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 This is not what I had planned for the rest of my life. I had this so rosy plan. I moved into this 55 plus neighborhood 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years in January. And part of the reason I did that is I'm single. I live alone. I have a tendency to isolate. I was living in this big house, more space than I needed as a single person, and sitting up there on the hill and didn't talk to anybody. Didn't know any of my neighbors. The one neighbor I did know was nice enough, but she talked too much for me. So I would hide. When I went outside, I would kind of hide. If I saw her out there, I wouldn't go out. So that's kind of the person I am. I just want to isolate, be by myself. And I have this wonderful family. And my brother-in-law kept telling me, you need to do something different. That's not a good place for you to be. And he talked me into taking a look at some of these 55 plus communities. And it just so happened there was one right near me where I lived. And I decided to take the jump. I wasn't sure I could afford it. I mean, this place is like living on a resort. But I took the leap of faith, and turned out it's the best choice I ever made for me. And I'm constantly around people if I want to be. If I don't want to be, I close my door and don't answer it. There's activities here. The women that I've met in this neighborhood, single women, very much like me, some a little older, we just hold each other up, take care of each other. Just, I don't know what I would do without these women here. And I think I got off track here, but what was I saying? I don't even know what I was talking about.
No, you didn't get off track. I mean,
No.
You're working through it.
Yeah, so I'm grateful I have these people here, and that's the other thing. This neighborhood is going to be great for me. Oh, that was my plan, my retirement plan, right? I have all these things to do here. I'm never going to be bored. I'm not going to be alone if I don't want to be. I feel safe in my neighborhood. I have no family here in Nashville, but I still feel like this is home to me. So that was it. I was going to retire in August, and I was going to get more involved in the activities. I was going to find something that I could do volunteer work and art, because I love to paint, and I just wanted more time to do that. So that was the plan. And then got all the money, lined up as the best I could, this is what it's going to do. I'm going to do. I'm just going to make it happen. And you know how we get scared of that anyway. We get scared of that retirement. What am I going to do? I got Social Security, right? Well, for now. So I, just kind of had the old plan down, and I just, when that doctor, actually, the way that it really happened was about 7 years ago, I had this tremor and I didn't even notice it. Other people noticed it, told me to go to see this doctor. So I go see the doctor. He said, yeah, I see it. I think it's probably essential tremor. And it's a common thing that people as they get older have this tremor. It's benign. It doesn't, it's not a big deal. Some people have it really bad and there's treatments for that. But he said, that's about all. That's what it is. So I just accepted that and went about my business. And then last fall, about this time last fall, maybe even before that, I was at the pool. It had to be earlier than this. And one of my lady friends says, lady friends, man, you can tell I'm old, right? One of the ladies said, you're really shaking today. And I said, oh, am I? She said, yeah, I couldn't even hold my phone. I was trying to take a photo and I couldn't hold my phone. But, I guess I didn't realize it because I shook most of the time. And she said, I'm even noticing your head shaking, which was concerning to me. And so the three of them, there was four of us that were hanging out at the time. Three of them had just kept picking. Call the doctor, call the doctor, call the doctor. And so I said, okay, I'll go call the doctor. So I called the doctor. He did an examination. Is the same doctor I went to 7 years ago. And he said, oh, I see. It's a little bit worse than it was. Parkinson's disease, there's no definitive test for it. They have to make a clinical, they do these little, tap your fingers together, touch your nose and all this stuff. And they have you walk and all these kinds of things. And he did all that. And then he said, I'm going to have you go for this test. And I said, well, what is the test? He said, it's called a DAT scan. And it's no big deal. It's an easy test. No big deal. Little Chinese guy, just so sweet. No big deal. And he held my hands right before I left the office. He goes, this is going to help me rule out Parkinson's. He said, I don't think you have Parkinson's, but I just want to rule it out. So, like, okay. So then, a couple of weeks later, I was trying to get it scheduled and it was hard to get it scheduled. And I said, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I know it's not Parkinson's. It's a $750 test. I didn't meet my deductible yet. I'd have to pay for this. I'm going to have this test and it's going to say nothing. So, and then ladies, no, you're going to have the test. I'm like, well, I just hate to spend that money and to come back, I'm pretty sure it's not, no big deal. Bridget, have the test. Just put your mind at ease. Okay, have the test. So I go have the test, and it's really not a big deal. They make you drink this stuff that's apparently lights up your brain in some kind of radioactive type stuff. I don't even know. I mean, I sound really stupid. I haven't really educated myself in that. But anyway, so go have the test. And then it was like weeks, a month before I could see my doctor again. And the ladies, would you find out about your test results? I said, no, not yet. I said, and I don't get to see the doctor until July. This was in May. I can't believe that. Can't you call the doctor and get in earlier? I said, no, you can't just get in to see a neurologist whenever you feel like it. I'm on, I've got an appointment. And they just kept on and saying, well, there's got to be a way you can find out what the results of that test were. And I said, well, she said, where was it? I said, it was at Vanderbilt. Oh, yeah, you can get on their patient portal there and get anything there. And you'll be able to get your results. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I shouldn't do that, right? I should wait to see the doctor. No, go, do it. These people are naggy. But I love them. So of course I log into the patient portal And test results, they short and sweet. The low, something about the level of dopamine. There's a reduced level of dopamine that is indicative of Parkinson's disease. And it can be one of these other two things as well. So while it didn't confirm Parkinson's, it confirmed was I had a loss of the dopamine, which is what causes the Parkinson's in the first place. So I see this, and it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I see this online, and I'm like, oh my God, So I send it to my friend who's a nurse. And of course, she's on Google checking all these other diseases out.
Yeah.
Because that's how we all cure ourselves.
Yeah.
Really?
And
with Google.
So I said, I was glad I didn't have the other two. Well, I don't know, I didn't know at the time, but I feel like I'm going all over the place.
No, you're fine.
So
You're fine.
So I had to sweat it out from the end of May until the 12th of July.
Wow.
Before I could get in to see the doctor. I did call his nurse to see if there was any way I could at least just talk to him before I went in, because I found out this information. Because I was hoping if I could talk to him, he could talk me off the ledge, because at that point I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And she said, well, your test did show that it's likely Parkinson's, and he wants to see you. He wants you to come in and talk to you about medications, but I can't get you in any sooner. So I sat on that till July 12th. And by that time, I'm thinking, I'm going to go in there and he's going to say, yeah, this test says this, but it's not Parkinson's. Let's just see how it goes. But no, that didn't happen.
That's the denial part of the 5 stages of grief.
So I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure. So he put me on the medicine, and the medicine is supposed to stimulate the dopamine in your brain. So I started taking that. I had another follow-up appointment with him just last month. And of course, I'm getting ready to go in there, and I'm thinking, I'm going to ask him again. It's probably a mistake. So go in there, and he asked me how I'm doing, and I tell him. And I said, okay, so tell me, let's say I did have the DAT scan. What part of that little exam that you did with me makes you think that I really have Parkinson's? I said, what made you think that? What made you even decide that I should go for the DAT scan? I said, because I'm not seeing some of the symptoms I'm reading about online. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have the other. Well, the thing about Parkinson's is they say if you see one Parkinson's patient, you've seen one Parkinson's patient, because everybody is different, which is why they're having trouble finding a cure, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, back to him. And he said, well, you have stiffness, and he was showing me something on my wrist. And, I guess if you live with certain things after you don't know you have it. So there are things that I was exhibiting to him that he would let him to think that. So I walk out of that office thinking, okay, all right, so let's work on this acceptance again. Well, then I got mad.
Yeah.
So I stayed in the anger for a couple of weeks. Now I'm back, and it's a mistake. So
So can I just tell you what the 5 stages of grief are?
Yes.
Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So I think you have the first 4 down packed. That whole acceptance part, that's not coming.
No, not yet. And so Vanderbilt here in Nashville has a center of excellence for Parkinson's.
That's great.
And they have all kinds of programs, special programs there, and they have these movement disorder specialists. They're neurologists with advanced training in movement disorders. I called them in May after I got my test result, and the soonest I could get in to see the movement disorder specialist was May of 2024.
Wow.
So I made an appointment. So now the latest thing on my mind is I'm going to go there in May.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to a real specialist, and they're going to say, this has been a mistake. So, it's insanity.
No,
It is.
I mean, it's something like you said, you prepare for almost everything. This is something that you probably would have never prepared for. So now you're
a million years.
Yeah, you're bargaining. You're trying to get there. You know what I mean?
And here's all the fears that I have. Okay, so I live alone. That's a biggie right there. I mean, I've met a lot of people, and most of the people that I meet have their care partners, husbands and wives, right? I don't have that. Things could happen. They might not, but things could happen, which makes it I will not be able to take care of myself and live independently.
Yeah.
That's a really big fear for me. I have one child, a son. I would never expect to burden him with taking care of me.
Yeah.
And what do I do? What's going to end up? How am I going to? But we go out into the future and think of all the what ifs, and I know I have to stay in today and accept what's going on with me today. However, I feel like it's irresponsible for me not to think about and make contingency planning, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just the person I am.
Right.
I gotta make sure
preparing.
If this happens, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do that. And my mom has been in a nursing home for 2 years, and that has been really a struggle for all of us because she has early stages of dementia. And a lot of times you'll talk to her and there's nothing wrong with it. You don't think there's anything wrong with her. And I pay her bills, so I know how much it's costing us every month. It's $12,000 a month for nursing home care.
That's wild.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I look at my money, the retirement that I set aside for myself, which will make me, not rich, but comfortable. Right. And, oh God, now if I have to go to a nursing home, how long is that going to last? And then am I going to go on Medicaid? And then I'm going to it's just this crazy cycle. So I know what I need to do. I need to do some things for myself, right?
Yeah.
T-Rex,
Yes.
You're going to tell me, you're going to ask me, what am I doing for self-care? I'm not doing a damn thing.
Well,
Yeah.
aren't you doing like water aerobics like a couple of times a week?
3 times a week.
That's self-care.
Yes. And I stopped doing it. And here's okay. So I think I mentioned this to you before. I'm not an exerciser. I hate exercise. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to be out of breath.
That's me.
I mean, it's just inconvenient. So I like the water aerobics because while I still get a good aerobic workout, I don't sweat. And if I do, who cares? I'm in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't look at that like exercise. But what has happened since, like, I was doing it 3 times a week. Well, now that the pool is closed, the outside pool, we've moved it to inside. And we don't have a teacher. We have these tapes that we listen to, and we do this routine. Well, the sound system that they have inside that pool, it's horrible. I have a thing with my hearing anyway. there's a lot of noise going on in backgrounds, and I get real anxious. And that day that I was there, I could hear the music on the CD or whatever it was, but I couldn't hear the guy talking and telling us what to do. Half of it I had memorized, so that was not a big deal, but it was the background noise that by the time I left that class, I was on the edge. I had more anxiety when I left there than I did when I got there. So I can't do that. So while it's going to be inside, I'm not going to be able to do it. So a couple days, what I did was I went down there in the afternoon and I jogged up and down the pool. I guess we were there for about an hour. I can do that. So I'm going to have to kind of figure out a new pattern, new schedule of doing that on my own. And we put in a brand new gym at the clubhouse. They put all new equipment in there. Tomorrow I'm going up there. They're going to show us how to use the machines. And they were supposed to get this piece of equipment that was supposedly good for Parkinson's patients. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go tomorrow and check that out.
That's good.
So I'm going to try that too. So I really have to work on the exercise because I've been told the exercise is oftentimes even better than the medicine they give you. It's more effective. And the more exercise you do, the better. I mean, it doesn't make anything go away. It doesn't change what the disease does to you. It just makes you more fit and more, I don't want to say.
So can I tell you that they actually have like waterproof, like for swimming, earbuds?
Well, where I can hear the person, but not the.
You'll be able to hear everything. I'll send you some information on this. My brother's a big swimmer, so he has earbuds that he swims with, and he swims Lake Michigan. But I think that there's a way that you'll be able to connect to the system so you can hear him in your ears. Everybody else will be able to hear it, but you'll be able to hear it also.
In the earbuds. If it's Bluetooth, though, it has to be Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to look into that because I think that the swimming is good for you.
I know, and I loved it.
Because it clears your head.
Yeah, I loved it. So I'm going to figure something out because when I was doing it, I did feel better.
Yeah. I wonder if this is one of those things where you'll have to get, I don't want to say get through, like you compared it to the 5 stages of grief. And I don't know if it's something that you have to get through each stage or just find your way in each stage before you can focus on something else.
Yeah. Find peace, I guess. Find peace in each stage I'm in and acceptance of that. I'm in this stage and it's okay for me to be in this stage instead of fighting it.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.